The countdown is on for our third annual Skift Global Forum East. Join us this November 19th and 20th in Dubai as we bring together 500 of the region's most powerful travel and tourism decision makers. With executives from companies like Emirates, Accor, Dubai Tourism, and Jumeirah in attendance, this is an event you can't afford to miss. Secure your tickets now at live.skift.com and get ready to connect and learn from the best at Skift Global Forum East.
And welcome to the Skift India Travel Podcast. In today's episode, we will be diving into the ever-evolving world of travel and looking at how affluent millennials and Gen Z are increasingly setting new trends and reshaping how the industry caters to their needs, especially in the Indian travel market. Cleartrip seeks to be at the forefront of this transformation. Joining us today is Anuj Rathi, Chief Business and Growth Officer at Cleartrip, who's here to share insights on the latest travel trends, Cleartrip's strategic approach, and how they are meeting customer demands. Welcome, Anuj.
Thank you so much, Piran, for having me on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Anuj, for coming here. Anuj, as I mentioned in the introduction, affluent millennials have been a core focus for Cleartrip. Could you tell us how you see their travel preferences evolving in recent years? And how is Cleartrip tailoring its offerings to meet these changing demands?
Parents are absolutely correct. I think Cleartrip's focus on affluent millennials and their travel preferences, tailoring offerings, and all of those have been a core focus area for us since Cleartrip was born, like about 18 years back. We are seeing obviously like a big trend of Gen Zs who are now like taking over the travel landscape. So we have to be focused on both of them. But we are seeing some differences in the way that millennials approach travel as well as how Gen Z approach travel. So just to give data points from our own segments as well as preferences. Uh, I think we have like a lot of people who are from the millennial generation who are on Cleartrip, and they actually contribute to a very large part, around 70% plus of folks who travel through Cleartrip, right? So a few changes that we see or differences that we see, that millennials, they travel lesser, but they do bigger, longer. You could even say better vacations. Better meaning like essentially splurging a little bit more. The Gen Z mindset is quite different from that. For them, what matters is more authentic experiences, the desire to explore food, travel, culture. While it seems like they're not very social, but they are actually extremely social. They are more they are more inspired by Instagram and when their friends are traveling. And while they may travel solo, they always look for, or many of them look for, social connections where they are actually at the destination. They're on the lookout on new experiences and social connections frequently. And their video consumption is short and snacky, and so is their desire for travel and leisure. Now that's a little bit different than millennials. In millennials, for example, they would do lesser number of trips every year, but their spends are much higher in trips. They will also spend more on for example, hotels where they are staying. Possibly also because they are traveling with kids. So instead of alternative accommodations, they will still continue like looking for like hotels which can actually cater to the needs of their entire family. They'll look for activities. They will also look for package tours. They'll travel mostly with spouses, not so often with solos. What really matters to them is the need to upgrade. They were always looking for how can I get more for less. They are looking for ease of planning, uh, because they won't spend as much time as Gen Zs on going back and forth with respect to planning. They will look for flexibility, eventualities and all of that. That hey, if something wrong happens, how can I recover this? They're looking for price transparency. uh, in addition to that, for example, in Gen Z, I think they look for, like I talked about, authentic experiences. They look for affordability. uh, they look for peer and social validation the most. So I think that also is interesting. Some new trends that we have now started seeing around is whether they also look for sustainability. They look for local experiences that are hidden, or the hidden gems. I think that's something that Gen Zs are.
Whenever I hear the word that, your travelers, certain section of travelers are looking for sustainability, the thing is that, if I am looking for flights I get these options now in Google Flights about which flight is more sustainable, right? But
Mhm.
are people willing to pay more for sustainability, or is it still because recently there was a trip.com survey that said that people are very confused when it comes to sustainability. They are not really sure that if they are paying more, does it actually contribute to them making the earth a better place, or does it just go into somebody's pockets?
um, I, look, I think you're completely right, Padan. I think because what happens is the information that is available itself around sustainability is scant,
Mhm.
and even if people who are looking for sustainable options, I think they do a lot. They do some research as well around that. Hey, is it actually helping
Correct.
the planet or not? And I think on the flight side, we have at least we have not seen like that much amount of preference from sustainability. Affordability and flexibility remains the biggest driver. Price remains like even like small amount of price difference will make like a huge shift with respect to where people will change even their destinations. So that remains important. Having said that, sustainability matters, or at least like people are looking forward to in stays. So is there a resort which is like paperless, or
Mhm.
sorry, plasticless? Is there a resort or a hotel where I can get uh, more organic food and things like that rather than something which is a run of the mill? So that has started coming. But it's a growing trend. I would still say it's in a fledgling stage in India. But we totally Yes, but we fully expect this to also become like a major trend in the next 5 years.
Interesting. Anuj, we were talking about Gen Zs and millennials. Now, this group is, tech savvy and well informed. So they are definitely not easy to please, right? So how does online travel agencies like yours ensure that you stay ahead in terms of customer service, convenience, and of course the overall travel experience?
Absolutely. I think it starts with the consumer and what is important to the consumer, and really depends on how deeply we understand them. So, Perrin, like it's just a methodology that we have in Cleartrip for some time, is that we divide our consumer groups in essentially on one is what is our data telling, B what is the consumer insights telling. So we divide our groups in different kind of personas and look for literally that kind of that persona. What is important to them? We reenact a situation if they had to travel, how would it actually come, and then we marry it with the data. For example, we look at what we call the RFM segmentation. So it's we look at TPC, which is transaction per customer per year,
Mhm.
and we look at AOV, which is essentially a way for us to sense, are you traveling domestic, are you traveling international, and so on. So once you start going deeper into that segment and you speak with customers, very interesting trends start coming out on what people actually want out of an online travel aggregator, and that helps us craft our offerings. And while they may sound quite natural, that of course like an OTA should have that, but just how deep we will go to actually solve that. For example, yes. So look at, for example, flexibility. Like that's one of the things that we knew that after speaking with our customers, especially in now Gen Z, who are booking way ahead of time. For example, when we run a travel sale like a Big Billion Days or a Nation on Vacation, etc., a lot of people book ahead of time. So it's like instead of traveling basically D minus 14, which is kind of the median of when people would travel versus they will book. They will book 45 days, 50 days in advance to get that price. But now that they've locked the price, but at the same time they will need flexibility if something changes, which is more likely now that it's different. So availability of those flexible options have become like very important, and that kind of helped us to launch Clear Choice Max, and that in fact became like one of the things why reasons why people would want to come to Cleartrip. The other thing is we actually go very deep also into understanding the affordability angle of this one. Like for example, which kind of customers that Cleartrip either has or wants to attract, has what kind of credit cards, and has what kind of options when it comes to different offers that we can give them for certain airlines and for certain hotels. So we work very very deeply with them to actually get those offers, so that we are right up there for affordability, but at the same time also helping them with respect to flexibility.
Yes.
I'll give another example on this part, right? Like while when we think travel, we are thinking mostly hotels as well as flights. But for example, in buses, Now we understand from our data that 75% people who travel through buses actually book either last day or this day. So that's for example one. We also understand that that folks who travel through buses, majority of those travels go to the same destination multiple times. So that was so it could be either actually you're living somewhere but your hometown is near, and for example in a month you travel 3 times there, or maybe in like 2 3 months. So we launched a unique offering called bus passes, which essentially lets you buy a pass and get you like affordable option, get you X rupees off, 100 rupees off every booking whenever you book through Cleartrip.
Now, Anuj, you spoke about Gen Z booking way in advance. And of course, we know that price surges during peak seasons can be frustrating for travelers. And I understand that Cleartrip has taken steps to help customers avoid these surges through advanced booking strategies. How effective has this approach been, and what trends are you noticing regarding consumer behavior during festive and year end travel?
Let's actually talk about the way in which people actually travel. So we think of travel as like it starts with especially for leisure travel. It starts from say an inspiration and moves to the discovery phase. From discovery, they moves to the planning phase, to the booking phase, and then actually experiencing the travel. Right, like that's kind of the well understood funnel in travel. But we also understand, Perrin, that it's a very non-linear funnel. So it's not as if I will first get inspired and then discover and then plan and then book. It is a very zigzag thing. So you can continuously get inspired through Instagram, and many times you actually go to an OTA first to see, hey, what is the price for this particular destination on those dates, and then you go back to your friends and say, hey, do you want to come on that date? And it will again change, and all of that will happen, right? So given all of this, what we have also understood is, even if you have if you can bring in a bunch of destination and deals for flights, uh, a lot of people are actually willing to change the destination themselves. So that's also something that we have seen, which kind of helps travelers with respect to, I have 30,000 rupees, where are the places that I can go during my winter vacation with a couple of friends, and I'm okay with changing my
So
dates.
not have a
So
specific destination in mind. It's a destination that is decided by your budget.
I think it is also not very linear, Piran, because there may be a few destinations in mind,
Mhm.
and then you look for all of them. And then
Okay.
sometimes you look for that, hey, is Cleartrip running a particular offer or a bunch of offers around those airlines? For example, if you have something running with Qantas, then let me look in Australia. It's been on my bucket list. I had not particularly looked at Australia for this year, but if you have something amazing, then I would love to go there.
Interesting. That clearly shows that timing is everything when it comes to deals, right? So are you how do you align these deals with customer needs and manage the whole seasonal fluctuation as well?
Got it. So there are two ways, Perrin, in which we do that. Like there are two large nationwide events that we run, which are the marquee events called Nation on Vacation and the Big Billion Days and the festive sale that is going on right now. During these, because these are known times of customer surge for Nation on Vacation, it happens in March, and we try to cater to the festive, to the summer vacation needs of our customers. That's one. In the big billion days, it's kind of in happens in September, October, and here we try to cater to the needs of the winter season. And for both of these, given that we are a Flipkart company, so we work with actually airlines, hotels, and all throughout the year, so that at these 2 points we are able to converge all of these deals together for our customers. And we also work with banking partners so that the deals are really really crazy, and the kind of creativity that our partners also show here is quite amazing, because this is a constant work that needs to happen. So think of these 2 times as convergence of all the deals, and then also generating the customer demand, making them know that, hey, amazing deals never seen before are coming, so that you can come and actually book at this time. So this is kind of on the large events that we run. But beyond that, Perrin, we also have like a year-long calendar with airlines as well as our hotel chains and other partners, to bring kind of deals on the platform, which are not particular to which are not like fully central, but they will be particular to certain destinations or certain flights and so on. So that's kind of like the double approach that we take here. Now, there's one more thing that I would want to talk about here is that essentially we look at like customers who have who also has super coins on our platform, right? Like, so that's kind of the third thing that works. Super coins is a Flipkart currency. So essentially, any time you book or buy anything on Flipkart, you would be rewarded a few currencies in super coins, and over a period of time, that currency kind of grows into a large amount as well. And
For context for all our listeners, Flipkart is the parent company of Cleartrip, and it's one of the biggest e-commerce platform in India, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Just to introduce Flipkart. So Flipkart is India's largest e-commerce company. We have around 600 million customers. It's so it has roots in essentially India's tier one, but very very deep in India's tier two, and because of our reach and just the customer base that is accessible to us on Flipkart, I think a lot of customers who are going to travel first time or first time in a flight, etc., also are kind of taking their first flight through Flipkart. So we have Flipkart Travel, which is powered by Cleartrip. So that's also something that works. Uh, and super coins is a currency that essentially anytime you buy anything on Flipkart, you will get some super coins. Now, what happens, Peden, is because of the access to these super coins, the deal becomes even sweeter. And we've also seen this. There's an industry trend, but also very interestingly, we are seeing this on Flipkart. Whenever you have like these currencies, either it could be credit card coins, and we've already seen like how airline miles work, how hotel reward points work. So even though we have an e-commerce currency, we have seen like a large preference of for people to use that currency for travel rather than on buying things once again. So that kind of really helps us kind of complete the flywheel. In a way, you essentially always want to reward the customers with something so that their next deal or next booking gets sweeter, and that sweetness is something that we are working together towards to make it even better.
Hey there, it's Seth Borko, the head of Skift Research, and I've got a brand new report that I want to share with you today. It's called our State of Travel 2024 report. It's perhaps the single most comprehensive report we do every year, and the best part, it's free to download right now. We have 350 plus insights in this report with pretty much a chart for basically any sector. Do you need a chart on hotels? We've got that. A chart on airlines? We've got it. A chart on consumer behavior? Guess what? We've got that too. I really appreciate if you check out our State of Travel report. You can download it now by going to skift.com/state of travel with dashes between every word. So that's skift.com/state-of-travel. Download the report, check it out, and let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy.
Great. When we are speaking of timing, Anuj, I've noticed that you've increased your marketing spend for the festive season. So what role do digital channels like Google or Meta play in this strategy, and how do you tailor your content to resonate with different, like you mentioned, the tier one and the smaller cities? How do you tailor your content to resonate with different audience segments as well?
Right. So, Perrin, we are we are a new age platform, and especially being again under the Flipkart umbrella, we have access to a lot of targeting technology as well as the technology that other people would take like a lot of years also to build and so on, right? Like so, being a new age platform, we want to catch our audience where they truly are, and therefore our focus is actually going to be largely on digital. We use traditional modes of advertising more to generate conversations about the brand, and that's also going to be a focus area. Now, for example, recently we came out with a print ad during the Big Billion Days, and we wanted to bring something new and fun to the traditional India. So we turned a newspaper ad into an interactive paper plane, so you can actually fold it and actually throw a plane itself, more than just something to read. And we saw that it was something that people could play with, and it made the message stick. So while we will do all the work on traditional media also, which is so we are going to be very innovative there, but even on digital, we are going to get our users where they actually are. So it will be Meta, it will be Google, it will be Instagram, it will be all the other places where you can find them. And now the interesting thing is, because we have a lot of data for our users, which helps us in understanding them better. Which, for example, is how many times have you flown, which places, what are the destinations that you have searched for, etc. So if we find the right deals, it becomes now about matchmaking. So then a right YouTube ad can surface for those users, uh, versus something which is very generic. So we are using a combination of both of them.
Also, Anuj, I've found out that 30 to 40% of Cleartrip's media budget goes towards its your sales events. So how do you balance these these short term promotional pushes with the need for long term brand
It's
building?
an excellent question, Perrin, and in fact, that's been one of the questions that every company needs to answer. That are you going to be so much focused on performance marketing and so much focused around here and now and where the numbers are, or are you going to be focused on only long term brand building and almost forget about the day to days? Cleartrip has taken like a very balanced approach in this one. But if you ask me, the focus is very much on long term brand building so that people know what Cleartrip stands for. So we are evolving that, and we want people to know that what we stand for. But at the same time, we do campaign from time to time to make our users aware, because the deals and special offers, etc., are all going to be very time sensitive, and we don't want our users to kind of miss out on any of those deals that will come. The focus, while it is on long-term brand building, it is balanced though. Now, this is also one of the reasons we signed, MS Dhoni, which is like one of the most popular Indian cricketers ever, this year, to build on the trust and credibility of the platform as we continue to grow. So, our focus, of course, will remain on building a brand to make India travel better and smarter. We are right now building a distinctive CVP, or customer value proposition. We will stand for tension-free travel, and we'll continue to offer flexibility and affordability constructs to make travel more accessible to a larger demographic,
I
especially in
think
our.
that's going to really stick because especially when you're traveling from India, tension-free travel is something that everybody wants and aspires for, but is very hard to get.
Oh, absolutely. And given where we are with respect to Flipkart, Pedant, there are so many folks. Like if you look at, like, India has what, 10 crore odd, or whatever, 100 million passport holders, but only 30 million of them have actually traveled internationally
Exactly.
yet, right? A lot of those people are in tier two cities, and tier three and tier four cities and all of that. And given that, even if they want to travel, where will they, how do they even start? And if they start, um, a lot of them will find themselves basically scratching their heads. Hey, if I want to go to a Dubai, or if I want to go to a Thailand, that's where, like, short hauls first time people travel. What do I do with respect to a visa? Is this the right flight for me, and all of that? Now, for Cleartrip and Flipkart Travel, essentially, to be at the point where they are able to trust us as much as the parent brand becomes very, very important. And that's where we think our right to win also is in a large way. And if we are able to do that well, a lot of that, hey, I am going to be able to travel tension free without hassle, and they will take care of me if anything goes wrong. I think that becomes very important.
Very interesting. And as we wrap up, what broader trends are you seeing in the Indian travel market, especially post pandemic? Have there been like shifts in destination preferences, travel frequency, or the types of experiences Indian travelers are
It goes
seeking?
back but into the one that we were talking about millennials and Gen Z, right? Like, but I'll talk about broad trends right
Yeah.
now. I think a few things that have happened is that we have seen a lot more interest in staycations and short trips. I'll give you a couple of examples, or some of the drivers also. Like, if you look at the number of alternative accommodations hotels that have come up near highways now, which don't need you to travel for 8 hours, that has really increased, right? Like, so that has also helped in satisfying the demand that has come for staycations and short trips. And we have also adapted by adding more local destinations and creating deals for short, affordable getaways and so on. Now we are seeing that Indians are also becoming more experimental with where they want to travel on their international trips. Now, if you look at, like, destinations like Almaty, Baku, Hanoi, they were not even on the Indian travelers' mind, or
Absolutely.
2 years back. And like you said, like, we were discussing before, that many people now get inspired through Instagram, and because they're seeing a lot of them going to these places, so they become a lot more open when it comes to, like, traveling to offbeat destinations, and now they're becoming onbeat, to be honest. Now, so that's kind of one trend internationally. We are also seeing that travelers now capitalizing on long weekends more frequently. Almost every long weekend, we see like a huge spike. They will opt for spontaneous trips. So either we are seeing people, or travelers booking quite far in advance, or literally, what can I do this weekend? So that's kind of become an interesting trend rather than it being in the center that, hey, I'll book 45 days before I want to travel. Now, last year it was mostly early planning. This year it is looking like it's very balanced. They're increasingly seeking leisure focused destinations. They're also showing a preference for resort properties. I think that's one interesting trend that we are also understanding over traditional hotels, right? Uh, Probably another one, no, not so much a Gen Z trend, but we are seeing a significant increase in spiritual tourism, Param,
Mhm.
this year, especially after COVID. So yeah, those are some of the trends.
Very interesting. And finally, my last question, international versus domestic travel. How does the appetite for overseas trips compare with domestic journeys, especially among the younger demographics that, Cleartrip is targeting?
I think yeah, it's so one of the good things that have happened is now there are 26 countries which basically have, like, visa free travel for Indians, and that's
Absolutely. So that is a big deal breaker, right? I mean, like, the fact that visa free is, like, if a destination is visa free, then you can just make up your mind to go.
yes, yes, absolutely. I think so. So one of those things is visa-free travel policies have actually made it easier and more affordable for Indians to travel, particularly to the Southeast Asian countries. This year, we have seen our bookings to Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, even Indonesia, that have significantly increased. So a lot of travelers are moving or in flocks to those destinations. In fact, first-time international travelers are choosing those destinations as well. Some recent trends that we are observing, like the younger Gen Z travelers, they're using tools like Gen AI and so on. So overall, the adoption is increasing among those, and the destination content is also becoming more accessible. So that, I think, is has become very interesting, where they're looking at what will I do at that destination.
Okay, so they are using Gen AI for trip planning.
Yeah, so they are using Gen AI and definitely ChatGPT and others. Even if they put, like, hey, I have these dates, I want to travel to Spain, I have 5 days, I want party, and I want, like, good vegetarian food. Please prepare an itinerary. So they will start. A lot of them are starting there as well. So that's very, very interesting. Um, on the domestic front, though, I think what we have seen is that festive bookings have been in high demand. And for example, VFR, or what we call visiting friends and relatives for Diwali. I think after COVID, every year it's been catching up, but now this year it was pretty solid. Like, people going back to their hometowns and destinations and so on. This year itself, we have seen like a 20-25% increase in the travel bookings for October to December for the destination compared to last year. There's also a significant surge in booking, like I said, for homebound, but even otherwise, tier one and tier two cities.
Interesting and fantastic insights, Anuj. Thank you for joining us today, and for sharing Cleartrip strategies in such detail. It's quite clear that you're listening to your customers and are proactive in meeting the evolving needs of these travelers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pen, for having me once again.
Thank you so much. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in. Stay connected with us for more episodes where we dive into the latest trends and insights in travel. Until next time, thank you.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other platform, please subscribe, rate us 5 stars, or leave a positive review. Your support helps us spread the word about the Skift India Travel Podcast and ensures we can keep bringing you free content every week. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the Skift channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated whenever a new video drops. Thank you for your support.